Hey there, welcome to How to Write a Novel. Fucking cold ass day. Next to the traffic again, but I just got a couple quick things I want to chronicle. First off, I was thinking of this quote that I don't remember where I heard it. Some ostensibly famous person talking about writing said, "I hate the act of writing, but I love having written." You know, like they love the results. They love that they have written stuff and that it's done, but they hate the act of actually doing it. I've always really hated that fucking quote. I just don't understand it because I never think about that while I'm writing. I think about that when I'm doing other stuff. Like this audio book that I've been dragging my feet on of my last book that I'm making this fucking audio thing as I keep bringing up in this podcast. It's just a horrifying amount of work. It's so much work because just the way I recorded it, I didn't record it in like a smooth take. If I ever record another audiobook, I'm going to try to do a better job while actually recording because I was just kind of scrolling through the manuscript on a little phone. So I basically paused after every paragraph, if not every sentence or two. And it's like, well, I'll just pull this all together in the editing. But it's a horrifying amount of work to just make this thing sound natural. And it all turns out well in the end, but I hate doing it. And then after I'm done editing this whole thing, I'm going to make YouTube versions of it where there's video that applies to whatever I'm talking about. It's a book about video games, so a lot of video game clips. And it's gonna be awesome when it's done. I'm gonna love it when it's done. But I hate working on it. And that's that same thing. That's I will love having had done it, but I hate doing it. Because it's just rote mechanical work. But to apply that to writing, I don't understand. That is so weird. That's just another bizarre thing. Like, I feel like if you've got that mindset, if you hate writing, you just like the end result of being a writer, I don't know, man, get the fuck out of here. Fuck you. You know, just yet another thing to add to my list of maybe you don't need to be a writer. Maybe nobody wants your garbage. No, just whatever. I don't know. That's a dumb side point. Whatever. You ever just want to get something off your chest and then as you start to say it, you realize you don't actually know what it's about or what the purpose is? Or what the meaning is at all? So, okay, the real topic is, if, 2 episodes ago I was kind of flying high, being a weirdo, and then I was saying how last episode I was kind of back down to earth, now I'm below the earth. I'm so deeply back on the earth that I was thinking about, when I finally get to the end of this book, when I finish the first draft, and then I edit it a bunch of times till it's all done. And it makes me nervous to think about that time because that's when I've got to take it into the real world. I got to figure out where to submit this thing to and start trying to get somebody in the outside world to give a shit about this book. And it's going to be there's going to be a lot of resistance in me, Because if I just didn't do it, then I could just stay in my bubble forever and just presume it's a great book that no one will ever get to read. And it's going to be tough to get over that hump. And it's one thing I said when I first started this podcast. That's one of the reasons I started this podcast, is when I get to that point, I want to keep myself accountable. I want to have that extra push to force me to get over that hurdle and to enter this new area. Because the last book I wrote, I just put out myself. I got a Smashwords fucking royalty payment for $1.62 yesterday. It didn't go anywhere, no one cared, but I just did it all myself. And I learned about how to put a book on Amazon and how to put a book on Smashwords and how to make an EPUB. All this stuff that was handy, but I'm not going to do that again. So the next time, I got to go out to the real world and it's going to suck. But whatever, that's not coming yet. That'll be another year till I get there. So I'm just trying not to think about it right now. Who cares? I'll worry about that when it happens. But speaking of stuff that a year ago I didn't really think was ever going to come, so I was saying how I got to this point in this book where, in this novel I'm writing, where the story suddenly took a big gallop forward. Like this section of my notes that were very robust. I had all kinds of notes for this midpoint in the book, and I just suddenly realized I don't need any of them. I'm done. I can move on to the next phase. And it was a little weird to have all these notes and to not use them, but it's for the greater good. See the previous few episodes for details. So I finally finished that chapter. It's really been taking me a long time because it's one of the longer chapters and it's just difficult. I want to make sure I don't fuck it up. It's a big pivotal moment in this story, but I finally got through it. Yesterday I finished it. So today it's time to move on to the new section, the new big part, the whole new shift in the story. And what's weird is, so that previous section I had all kinds of notes for that I ended up not needing and not using. And I made my peace with that, with leaving those behind. But now I got the opposite problem. Now I'm into this phase of the story where I don't have robust notes. I don't have very much for this. I've got the sort of vague generalities of where I'm at now and where I've got to get to. But the details are almost non-existent because when I broke ground on this book, which was a little over a year ago, I just never really thought I would get here, you know? It just didn't really occur to me that this day would ever come, that I would actually get this far into this project and actually get this deep into it without having given up. I'm still going. I'm easily 3/4 of the way through this book. And now I'm at this point where I'm just suddenly realizing like how much I wasn't ready for this, how underdeveloped this whole end sequence is. Because it was like, yeah, whatever, man. I'll get there someday. Who cares? I got enough notes to feel confident enough in this story to get started on the daily grind. And I did. I got started on the daily grind. And now, you know, whatever this is, 14 months later, it's still grinding away. Everything's going well. But now it's suddenly so unclear. Like not only, if I look at it from the perspective of a year ago, did I not really, something in my head was just like, yeah, well, we'll never get there. We'll never really have to ever worry about that because it's so far in the future. But if you even just go back a month, I didn't expect to be here this quickly because I had all these notes that I thought I was going to use. I'm almost home and it is cold out, so I'm not going to belabor this point too much. But that's all, I guess. It's just that just like I'm sort of nervous. I'm like, oh, fuck, now what do I do? What the fuck? I could get into the details, I guess. It's basically just that the main character... Oh, geez, that's weird. Just saw this dude run across the street and it was my brother. My crazy-ass brother. So I was like, who is that running across this busy street? He's going to get hit by a car. I was like, oh. It's because it's my crazy brother. Yeah, basically, the main character of this story is going to get hooked up to the kind of computer system of the station. I'll talk about it more later, whatever. Maybe it'll help me sort it out. It's too fucking cold today. But I just realized like how little I know about it, how few details I have figured out about this. It's like, oh fuck, I've got to figure this out. I got to sort this out now. I'm here. We made it. What are we doing here? How are we this deep into this project? How did this not fail? How is this still working? Crazy. But I'm not ready. So what I'm going to do is I came up with this past summer, just a little thing to add to my daily workload is that I come up with one note each day for a future story. I just pick one of my stories that's in, mid production somewhere. And I just come up with some idea for something each day, just because each little drip adds up. So I'm going to focus that a bit. I'm going to marshal that idea. I'm still going to just, on top of whatever else I'm doing each day, going to come up with one idea, but the idea has to be about this direct section of the book. And then I guess we'll see. If I come up with enough shit to keep me from drowning. It's like I feel like I'm running a race against a big herd. I've got, my daily routine. I got to keep up the daily routine. I got to keep writing every day. I got to keep going. I can't let this stop because I got to get to the end. I got to finish this project. But maybe like the dreaded writer's block might happen now. Maybe the herd will trample me. I hope not. I don't know. We'll see. I'll just keep chronicling it as I go. And yeah, maybe I'll explain it a little better on another podcast, and maybe that'll help me jog some ideas. But that's enough for today, because my fucking fingers are freezing off. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.